I'm going to pick up pretty much where I left off. Um, Show you something else this morning. Again, how God works in lives, in my life. um, I left us in northern lower Michigan, about 2.5 hours from the house that we owned. Sarah was working for the state of Michigan and their TB eradication program as a licensed veterinary technician, going out to farms, doing paperwork, uh, cleaning, just everything involved with it. Worked with a couple Christian doctors and some that weren't, which was fine. Um, I am at home in our rental home with three little ones, being Mr. Mom, and I had totally enjoyed, not totally, but I really enjoyed my work at National Tech Team, helping to troubleshoot computers over the phone. So I thought, okay, maybe that's the way that the Lord's leading me. So we borrowed some money from one of our folks, I don't remember which one, and I started distance learning about computers and getting a computer science degree. Uh, God brought us to a great church, families with kids our age or just a little older, great place to worship, and we're getting to know folks. Uh, and just kind of as much as you can with three little kids, kind of settling into a new life. It looked like God had taken me a new direction. The pastor of the church we were at came out, and our mailman told on us because I was still getting a few things addressed to Reverend Edward Ross, even though I turned my ordination into the district, and I figured after that last experience that I disqualified myself, that I was done and out of ministry. Well, anyway, the senior pastor where we were going came and he said, "I hear that you've been in ministry." Well, yeah. And he laid out a situation where the head of their Awana program was great with kids, not so good with the parents. They needed to uh, try to swap him out, which, looking back, yeah, maybe, but I don't think so. Anyway, and they asked me if I'd be willing to step in. I told the pastor then pretty much what I've told you guys, and said I'm not sure that God has ministry for us at this point. And he said, and I said, you need to know that and be aware of it and think about it. And pastor said, okay, you guys pray about it. We'll pray about it, and we'll get together again in a week and see where the Lord's leading. Well, both Sarah and I had prayed about it quite a bit, and neither one of us felt that check you get in your spirit where God's saying, no, don't do that. The doors seem to be open. If you haven't done Awana before, and you've done other programs, which I had done, it was an intense leave. Awana is highly structured, highly programmed, and I was coming in as the Awana commander. Well, I asked the guy that was getting bumped to help me and to stay. And in support of him, he did. He and his wife did stay. And they helped so much. And it became obvious real quick that Jerry just loved the kids and loved the Lord. And right off the bat, I was like, wow, this guy's got to stay. He and his wife, Melody, just super, super people. Um, so the Lord got us volunteering at the church, which was great. Our oldest kid was coming in as a cubby, the youngest of the Awana clubs, and They had some great volunteers there, and the Lord blessed, and we just had a great time. And then the pastor came and said, well, you're leading this thing. You probably ought to join the church. Okay, so we went through church membership and joined the church. Well, he wasn't gonna let it go, man. He said, you joined the church, you've got experience, you're leading Awana. Why don't you become a deacon? And I was like, what in the world are you doing here? But I prayed about it. Sarah and I did, and again, there was no check in the spirit. No, hey, don't do that. So I ran for deacon and was voted in, and just I had a great time with the other deacons and sorting things out, working through things in the church, and I was still doing my studies. As a matter of fact, I even built a few computers and sold them. I was troubleshooting computers. Word got around, this guy knows computers, so I was able to do that. But God seemed to be holding the door open for me to go back into ministry as well. He wasn't done with me yet. I was sure he was in that regard. Volunteering in a church, deaconing, I guess. I was kind of getting there. But God continued to work with me through that time. I just wanted to share that with you. It wasn't just financial stuff going on. Like, those were great. We needed that. But there was also spiritual stuff going on as well.